Hey, where the heck is my suit? I've been looking for it all morning and I can't find it anywhere.
Your suit? I told you I had it dry cleaned. It was dirty and you said it wasn't urgent, remember?
What? I don't remember you telling me that. Why would you just go ahead and do something without checking with me first? What if I suddenly needed it? What then?
You're the one who said it wasn't urgent. Well, can you get it handled right now if you say you need it urgently?
Handled? Are you kidding me? Why would I have to fix this? You're the one who decided to do it on your own, so you should deal with it.
But I'm heading out for work today too, and it might be hard to arrange something now. I'll be more careful next time, so can't you just wear another suit for now?
Wow, you're seriously useless. Honestly, I'm starting to wonder why I even married someone so incompetent.
You don't have to say it like that. I'm doing my best here.
Doing your best? That's your best? Your best means nothing to me. You should take a page from my mom's book. She was perfect.
I'm not your mom, and we're completely different people with different circumstances. Comparing us makes no sense.
Comparison or not, you're just making excuses. For me, my mom is the standard. If you can't live up to that, then just stay quiet and follow my lead.
If that's how you feel, maybe you should have married your mom instead. Why don't you two just stay happily together forever?
What? What the hell are you talking about? Even as a joke, that's way out of line. Are you just trying to piss me off?
I'm not trying to upset you, it's just how I really feel. You've never once considered how I feel since we got married, have you?
How are we supposed to have an equal relationship when you always have to be the one in charge?
I always have to be in charge? You're the one who pushes ahead with things without giving me a say most of the time.
No, that's because you're indecisive. If I didn't step in, nothing would ever get done.
It's not that I'm indecisive. It's that you never listen to my input, so it feels pointless to even try.
If you thought it was pointless, why didn't you just say so from the start? I'm not a mind reader, you know.
You don't have to be a mind reader to at least show you're willing to listen. That lack of effort is why I don't bother speaking up.
So what do you want from me then? Be specific. I might consider it.
It's not about considering. Start by reflecting on your attitude, the way you talk to me, and how you just assume I'll handle everything for you.
You call it reliance, but I'm dealing with stress from work too. Is it so wrong to expect some support at home?
Support goes both ways, doesn't it? But even when I'm exhausted, you never step in. That's not support. It's a burden.
Don't call it a burden. I'm doing my best in my own way. Can't you at least acknowledge that?
Acknowledge what? You barely lift a finger around the house. All you ever do is criticize my efforts.
It's not criticism, it's advice. I'm trying to help you do things more efficiently.
That so-called advice is just a convenient excuse for your attitude. You just want to feel superior, don't you?
Maybe the real problem is how you always take it that way. I'm not saying things to hurt you on purpose.
Even if it's unintentional, you still end up hurting me. If you can't understand that, then I don't think I can do this anymore.
Aurora, what are you doing? How can you just leave your husband behind and go out for hours like that? I'm starving over here. What am I supposed to do?
Excuse me? Buying furniture and appliances isn't something you do every day. It's a big deal, so being careful is normal, isn't it? There's no way I can just rush through it, and I want to make sure everything matches the new house. Taking a little time is only natural. Also, don't tell me you've already forgotten about last night. You were in a bad mood after our fight, and now suddenly you're acting like everything's fine? It feels so off. Come on, you actually went out and got divorce papers. You were so emotional back then, and now you're just saying it's all over like it's nothing? I don't get it at all.
What? That was just a fight. I didn't mean any of it seriously, so don't overthink it. To me, it was just something said in the heat of the moment. And come on, me bringing out the divorce papers is practically a routine at this point. You should be used to it by now. It's nothing new, so stop making such a big deal out of it.
Yeah, you're right. For you, Ethan, it's just the usual. But for me, it's far from normal. Can you imagine what it feels like to be on the receiving end of this every single time? I mean, yesterday, you got mad because you didn't like the lunch I packed for you, didn't you?
Well, using frozen food is way too lazy, don't you think? My mom would never do something like that. If my dad had seen that lunch, he'd have completely lost it.
I see. The fact that you'd bring out divorce papers over something like that is just ridiculous. But whatever. I'm too tired to argue with you anymore.
You don't actually want to divorce me, do you? That's why every time I bring up the divorce papers, you just stay quiet and end up doing what I say. It's easier that way, so that's why I keep using them. For me, those divorce papers are like a magic lamp. A convenient little item that grants my wishes, you know?
Right. That magic lamp of yours? You've already used it more than 4 times now. Don't you think it might be losing its power soon?
Mine's a special edition, you know? You really outdid yourself, getting a brand new house with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. When you told me you bought a house without telling me, I was pissed. But finding out you paid for it entirely with your personal savings, that really caught me off guard. Was that money you saved up before we got married? You must have stashed away quite a lot.
Yeah, I saved it thinking I'd use it for when we had kids in the future, but I figured this would be a good use for it.
Exactly. Let the future take care of itself when it comes.
Ah, right, sure. Oh, by the way, you totally forgot to cancel the lease on this place, didn't you?
We're moving at the start of next month, so I went ahead and canceled it for the end of this month. Seriously, Aurora, you're so scatterbrained sometimes.
What? You already canceled it?
Well, yeah, we're moving soon, aren't we?
Well, that's fine. It doesn't really matter to me. If you're okay with it, then do whatever you want.
I don't think it's something that doesn't matter to you, but whatever. I'm really looking forward to the new house.
Sure. Anyway, I'll handle everything else, so you don't need to do a thing, Ethan.
Oh, thanks. I'm counting on you. Another tiring day, huh? Thanks to you handling everything, I had it super easy. It was so funny watching you handle all the moving by yourself. I guess I'll give you a little bit of credit.
It's fine. The move went smoothly and I plan to do it alone anyway.
I just finished work, so I'll head over there now.
Head over here? Wait, how do you even know the address? I didn't tell you, did I?
Oh, that. I found it on some paperwork at the house. I mean, forgetting to tell your husband the address? How absent-minded can you be?
It's not that I forgot to tell you, but whatever. That doesn't matter now.
Speaking of forgetting, I've been meaning to tell you something. Starting today, my parents will be living there too. They're thrilled to move into a brand new house. Looks like they even sold the old place. They're already on their way over.
What are you talking about? They're not coming into my house.
What? What are you talking about? That's a terrible joke, even for you. What is this? Payback for that fight we had? Are you seriously still mad? That's so petty.
Oh, please. I don't even care about that anymore. You waving divorce papers around over every little thing has become so predictable.
Classic Aurora. You totally get me. Anyway, stop messing around and get a room ready for my parents, will you? Apparently, movers are bringing their big stuff, so clear some space for that too.
Seriously, none of you are stepping foot in this house. Can you stop making plans on your own and getting all excited about them?
You're still going on about this? Honestly, I'm tired of humoring your jokes.
It's not a joke, it's serious. This house was bought for me. There's no room for you or your parents, who are basically strangers to me.
Strangers? That's not funny, not even a little. I'm your husband, and my parents are your in-laws. Do you not even know the difference between what's okay to say and what's not?
Husband? What are you talking about? I'm single, by the way.
What? Come on, you've got to be kidding me. What the hell are you thinking? You're seriously the worst. What do you mean I can't come into the house? Even if this is a joke, you've taken it way too far. Do you even understand how much I've been going through?
I didn't expect to hear this during my break. So what's the deal? If it was that important, maybe you should have brought it up earlier.
What's the deal? Are you kidding me? Do you even know how much trouble you've caused me? I've been running around apologizing to relatives, trying to find us a temporary place to stay.
Oh, is that so? But wasn't it your mom and dad who sold the house? And you're the one who canceled the lease. So how exactly is any of this my responsibility?
I'm telling you, this isn't funny. Yeah, we're staying at a relative's place, but they complain about us every single day. Thanks to you, I feel like I can't even show my face around them.
Well, if you have a roof over your head, that should be enough, right? I don't see why you need to keep bothering me about it. By the way, have you ever consulted me before making a decision?
No, of course not. And while we're at it, what did you mean when you said you were single? We haven't gotten divorced or anything, right?
Oh, come on. You've shoved signed divorce papers in my face more times than I can count. Every time something didn't go your way, you'd throw them at me. What am I supposed to say to someone like that?
Wait, you're not saying you actually filed them, are you? What the hell were you thinking?
Of course I did. With all those signed papers lying around, it'd be a waste not to use them, don't you think?
This isn't a joke. How many times did I tell you I never really intended to go through with a divorce?
Didn't you proudly say that your parents' way of arguing was your inspiration? You know, the whole letting out frustrations and clashing head-on is the secret to a happy marriage thing?
Exactly. That's it. You get it, don't you? I've always admired that kind of relationship. The ideal marriage where both people can say anything to each other. So even the divorce papers were just an extension of that. Something I pulled out in the heat of the moment. You're the one who decided to take it seriously, and now look where we are.
If you were serious about that, you should have shared that value system with me from the start. To me, you waving those papers around always felt like a threat, nothing more. Look, Ethan, if you want to admire your parents' relationship, be my guest. But using that as an excuse doesn't mean you can do whatever you want, okay?
What was that supposed to mean?
You always criticize me by saying things like, Mom would never do that, or Dad would lose it if he saw this. But newsflash, I'm not your mom, and you're not your dad. She was stay-at-home mom, and I work full-time. Our situations are completely different, so expecting everything to be the same is impossible.
That's exactly the kind of excuse that's a problem. My parents have made it work, so shouldn't you just follow their example?
Even if that's true, what you're doing isn't the same. Pulling out divorce papers just to shut me up? How is that a relationship where we can say anything to each other? If all you want to do is complain, why not just rant at a wall for the rest of your life? At the very least, I'm done putting up with it.
Are you still at work? I'd like to have a word with you, Aurora. Is now a good time?
What is this about, Ileana? If it's about the divorce, I'm not changing my mind. Besides, the papers have already been filed.
Don't say that. Can't you at least listen to Ethan? He didn't mean any harm, you know.
Oh, he was just trying to model your marriage, wasn't he? Exactly. My husband and I have maintained a happy marriage that way. As the daughter-in-law, it's only natural for you to adapt to our way of doing things. True, from an outsider's perspective, you and your husband might look like the perfect couple. What's with that tone? You sound a bit prickly. Not at all. I'm just saying that, in reality, things seem quite different from how they appear.
Different? How so?
Before we got married, when Ethan talked about you and your husband, I could see why he admired you. But after marrying him and seeing the two of you up close, I realized something. You're not an admirable couple. You're just both selfish.
Excuse me? How are we selfish?
Every time you two argue, you throw divorce papers at each other and say whatever you want to hurt each other. Then, you vent your frustrations to others, clear the air between yourselves, and pretend everything is fine. Sure, with that kind of setup, I can see how you'd manage to get along despite your issues.
That's how we maintain our relationship. We don't need you judging us.
It's because of those actions that people around you find you unbearable. In fact, I got a call from the relatives you're staying with. They said you barged into their home uninvited and are causing trouble. They asked me to do something about it.
They actually said that about us?
This is what happens when you live only for your own convenience. There's no way I'd use your relationship as a model for mine. No, thank you.
Watch your mouth! How dare you talk to your in-laws like that? Someone as ungrateful as you doesn't deserve such a nice house. We'll put it to better use, so hand it over immediately.
Ah, so that's what you really wanted to say. You don't care about anyone else but yourselves.
Maybe I should rent you a storage unit instead. That seems more fitting for you.
Well, you can say whatever you want, but just so you know, there's no way I'm giving you this house.
Sorry to bother you so early in the morning. Aurora, there's something I really need to talk to you about.
What is it?
Yeah, I heard about the conversation with my mom, and I get it now. I understand that you're seriously mad.
Okay, and?
So, I'll be more careful of how I talk to you and everything moving forward. Let's just call this whole thing even, all right?
Even? Do you have any idea what I've endured for the past 3 years of our marriage? And you really think something this minor can just make it all okay?
No, but I'm saying I'll do better from now on. And you know, my mom and I are crashing at a relative's place right now. They're basically telling us to leave every single day. It's unbearable. So I've reflected enough, haven't I? Isn't it about time you forgave me?
This is pointless. If you're not aware, let me spell it out for you. You haven't actually reflected at all.
How can you say that? You don't know what I'm thinking. I'm telling you I've reflected, so why can't you just accept it?
See, that's exactly the problem. And by the way, the divorce papers have already been filed. There's nothing to make even anymore. It's already done.
Then just tell them you filed it by mistake. And besides, a one-sided divorce like this is ridiculous. It's not happening. Stop whining and go withdraw it already.
Why would I do that? Do you really think I'd want to be married to you again?
What? You're really pushing your luck just because I tried to be nice. Fine. If that's how you want to play it, I'll escalate this. I'll take it to family court and get this divorce invalidated. They can do that, right? Then that's what I'll do.
Only if both of us agree to make it invalid, and I'm not agreeing to anything.
Then I'll sue or whatever it takes.
Go ahead. Since deciding to divorce you, I've been preparing for this. Not just about the house, but I also recorded you using divorce papers to shut me up. I've even kept a journal documenting all the things you've said and done. You don't stand a chance.
Wait, when did you even do all that?
It just shows how serious I was about wanting a divorce. So don't bother, it's pointless. If you stay out of my life, I won't take any further action either. Got it?
Aurora, what's your problem? Don't you care that I'm in trouble? This is unbelievable. You're so inconsiderate. I'm coming over right now, so let me stay for a while.
What is this, Eliana? Seriously, stop contacting me. We're not family anymore.
I don't have time for that. We just got kicked out of the relative's house. They even threw our stuff out onto the street. Can you believe it?
You two just stormed in and wouldn't take a hint to leave. It's no surprise they had to show you the door.
That's not the point. We don't have anywhere to sleep tonight. I'll use your house, so stop complaining and let us in. Got it?
No. If you need somewhere to stay, book a hotel.
Excuse me? This is all your fault. You need to take responsibility for this.
Why on earth is this my fault?
You're the one who selfishly divorced Ethan. And now look where we are. We sold our house because we thought we'd be living together.
That's your own misunderstanding. It has nothing to do with me, and I'm not responsible for it.
Stop talking back. That house was bought while you were married to Ethan, wasn't it? That makes it marital property. Hogging it all for yourself is illegal.
Didn't Ethan tell you? This house was bought with money I saved before we got married, so it's not marital property, and it doesn't belong to Ethan.
That kind of nonsense won't fly. And living alone in a 5-bedroom house is ridiculous. You've got extra rooms, don't you? I'm offering to use them for you.
Actually, I'm living with my parents now, so there aren't any extra rooms. Sorry, it's not possible.
There are 3 of us. You're alone, so obviously you should give up some space.
Again, why would I go out of my way for people who aren't even my family anymore? Well, if you're so insistent, I guess I could let you use some space.
What? Really?
Sure, if you're okay with a storage shed in the backyard. I think it suits ungrateful people like you who do nothing but cause trouble for others. Ileana, I need to ask you something. I really hope I'm wrong, but did you come by my house this morning and do something?
Huh? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean. If something happened, why don't you just say it outright? From the way you're talking, it doesn't sound like it's a big deal.
This morning, a huge pile of trash was dumped in front of my house. And it wasn't just regular trash. It was mixed with food waste and disgusting stuff. It was a nightmare to clean up. From what I can tell, it looks like someone took it from the local garbage collection station. Whatever the reason, don't you think that's incredibly rude and inappropriate?
Oh my, that must have been tough. But having something like that happen so soon after moving in, maybe it's because you've been drawing too much attention to yourself in the neighborhood, don't you think? Honestly, Aurora, your attitude can come off as a bit high and mighty. That might be why the neighbors don't like you very much. You should work on fixing that, you know?
You're absolutely right. Problems like this happen because people don't reflect enough on their behavior. But seeing you and your husband has really been a good reminder for me to look inward.
Oh, so you're finally ready to admit your mistakes? Too bad it's a little late, isn't it? If you would change your attitude earlier, you could have avoided all this trouble. If only you'd listened to what we've been telling you, you'd be a much smarter daughter-in-law by now. But you're always ignoring us, and that's why you're missing out.
You're absolutely right again. If people don't take the time to reflect, they'll just keep inconveniencing everyone around them. That's something I've learned very well from watching you two. Honestly, you've disappointed me to no end. I never thought it was possible to feel this let down by someone.
What? What are you even accusing us of now? Go on, be specific.
Or are you just trying to shift the blame onto us with more nonsense? Actually, our neighborhood's garbage station has surveillance cameras installed. This morning, I reported the incident to the police and asked them to check the footage. The person carrying the trash away? It was clearly you and your husband. Care to explain what that was about? I honestly can't make sense of it. What? That's not true, right? There's got to be some mistake. Well, I don't think there's anything more I need to say. The police will handle it from here and talk to you both directly, so excuse me. Wait! Please don't do that. I don't want to get arrested. So you're admitting to it? I admit it. I admit it. Just please, don't report us. I see. Well then, I'll report it now. What? Didn't you already report it and say the investigation was done? Oh no, I just took a wild guess since I couldn't think of anyone else who'd do such a thing. There's no way an investigation could confirm the culprits in such a short time. Are you kidding me? So it was all a lie? Not entirely. The cameras at the garbage station are real. So eventually, when the investigation progresses, the truth will come out. I just figured recording your confession would be quicker. Recording? Yes. With this recording as evidence, the police should act swiftly. Wait! It was just a joke! I was upset about yesterday and lost my temper for a moment. You know, it's just our usual way of doing things. Bottling up your feelings isn't good, right? It's what we always do. Please, don't report us. Reporting criminals is just my way of doing things. Since I've already experienced your family's style, it's only fair that you experience mine, don't you think?
Hey, what the hell did you do? Are you trying to destroy my family's happiness? Why the hell did my mom and dad get reported to the police? Enough is enough.
Why? Because they're criminals, that's why.
That's not the point. Even though we're divorced, they're still your former in-laws. This is way out of line.
If we're talking about crossing the line, don't you think your parents went too far with their behavior toward their former daughter-in-law? And now that we're divorced, they're just strangers to me. If strangers do something like that in front of someone's house, getting reported to the police is the obvious outcome.
Even so, this is just too much. We've already sold our house, got kicked out of the relative's place, and now we're living in hotels. And on top of that, we have to deal with the police. It's too much, mentally and physically.
If you cared so much about your parents, maybe you should have helped them fix their behavior before it got to this point.
Cut the nonsense. Withdraw the police report right now.
Even in this situation, you're still talking down to me. It's honestly unbelievable. But are you sure you should only be worrying about your parents right now?
What? What's that supposed to mean?
Like I said before, I've got recordings and notes about everything you did during our marriage. Now that the divorce is finalized, I'm planning to file for alimony. You've lost your house, you're living in hotels, and now your parents are dealing with the police. Do you think you'll even be able to afford it?
What? Alimony? Are you kidding me? I don't have the money to pay that.
Even if you don't, you'll still have to. It's my legal right to demand alimony after all.
No way. I really can't handle this. Come on, please. Don't take this any further.
Well, I'm not completely heartless. So if you're really that desperate...
Really?
Yes. I'll stop demanding a lump sum payment. Considering your financial situation, monthly payments should work better, don't you think? But you have to pay every month, on time, without fail. Got it? Ethan, what the hell is going on? This isn't what we agreed on. Do you even remember what I said? I told you to pay the alimony on time every month, didn't I? Not a single payment has come through yet.
How can you say something like that so calmly? Do you have any idea what I've been going through because of you?
Well, whatever it is, it's not my concern.
The money from selling my parents' house is completely gone, spent on hotel bills and the fines for my mom and dad. Even though it was just fines, they now both have criminal records. And mentally, they're wrecked, practically lifeless and barely functioning. On top of that, the alimony you're demanding is way beyond what I can afford. What the hell am I supposed to do?
Everything about your parents' situation and your financial problems is your own doing. So don't start playing the victim now.
So what? You're telling me to just pay the rest of the alimony? You really have no heart, do you?
Oh, I ran out of stock on Heart and Tears ages ago. Some certain people hoarded it all for themselves until the very end, remember?
Fine, but I'll tell you this. I have no intention of paying any more alimony.
Excuse me? I've already been waiting for months, and now you're telling me you don't even plan to pay?
Shut up! What difference does it make? You've just been nagging me for a few months, and it's not like I've gotten any demands from a lawyer or anything. Maybe I can just skip out on it entirely without any consequences.
Oh, really? You think that's a smart thing to say? All right then, if that's how you feel, I won't hold back either. Are you ready for that?
Stop bluffing. Honestly, plenty of people don't pay alimony or child support, right? You'll just have to suck it up and give up in the end. And if things go as far as a court case, I've got plenty of ways to dodge it. You've heard those stories, haven't you? So why don't you save yourself the trouble and just drop it already?
Excuse me?
Too bad for you, huh? Looks like your whole plan is falling apart. Feels like I finally won this time.
You really are hopeless. Living in denial, running away from reality, and thinking that means you've won? Unbelievable. Don't you remember when I took you to the lawyer's office right after we started talking about alimony? Do you have any idea what those documents we signed meant?
Oh, yeah, I think I vaguely remember something like that. But honestly, thanks to you, I didn't have the mental space to think about it at the time.
Well, great timing then. Let me explain it to you clearly this time. The reason I took you there was to create an official notarized document. That document outlines what happens if you fail to pay alimony.
A notarized document? What's that? Doesn't sound like a big deal.
Not a big deal. Are you serious? It gives me the right to enforce payment through legal means. In other words, I can garnish your wages or seize your assets if you don't pay.
What? Enforce payment? Are you kidding me?
Serious? This is reality. The idea of skipping out on alimony was naive from the start. Well, how I'll proceed with seizing your assets, that's something to look forward to.
No, you can't do that. If my wages get garnished, everyone at work will find out. You can't do that.
Didn't you call the divorce papers your magic lamp? Don't you think I'm doing a much better job wielding magic?
No, that's not how this is supposed to go. Please, just find a way to withdraw it.
Withdraw it? How amusing. But it's too late. You've sown these seeds yourself, so you'll have to reap the consequences.
No way.
Oh, and there's one more thing I've been working on through my lawyer. We've set up an additional penalty for any delays in your monthly alimony payments.
Wait, what? Hold on. You never told me about this. You're kidding, right?
Do I look like I'm joking? It's time for you to face reality, and I'm done dealing with your nonsense.
Seriously, I promise I won't say another word. Just cut me some slack, okay?
It's been a few months since everything unfolded. In the end, Ethan did everything he could to avoid paying alimony, but he failed. The power of the notarized document was overwhelming. His wages were garnished, and even the car he used for commuting was seized. Naturally, the company found out quickly, and word spread that he was the guy who doesn't pay alimony. Ethan lost his place at work, becoming isolated as no one trusted him anymore, and his colleagues began to keep their distance. I've heard he's now living every day feeling ostracized and alone. Still, the monthly alimony payments continue, and any delay immediately results in more assets being seized. As a result, Ethan's living expenses are barely covered, and he's scraping by in a rundown apartment. As for his parents, they lost everything by paying their fines and became completely isolated due to their criminal records. Relatives and acquaintances alike have cut ties with them, leaving them with no one to turn to. With Ethan unable to help them, his parents are now reliant on welfare services to live a meager life. On the other hand, my life took a turn for the better after the divorce. I threw myself into my work, and my efforts were recognized. I got promoted. I'm enjoying a fulfilling life, living in the new house I purchased, and sharing it with my parents. I'm also taking on new projects, and though I'm busy, I couldn't be happier. Every day feels rewarding and full of promise.
Thank you for watching. Please rate the video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.